has ever gone before. And he goes beyond the shade, beyond the curtain, beyond the veil, as we would say, and crosses and hears from your Lord Most High. Imagine that, my brothers and sisters. And it is at that noble and blessed moment, at the highest levels of the heavens, that the final messenger of your Lord is given the prayer for the first time. And brings it back, and we know the story where he descends and speaks to our brother Moses. Again, a clear indication of referencing my brothers and sisters from the children of Israel. And a process occurs with the story of 50 and then 45 and so on, all the way to 5 actual prayers in physicality required upon the Son of Man, with the reward and the vibration and light of 50 prayers. And the prophet returns to the land and then returns to that place and then returns across the earth to back into the place of his home. And even in some of the references in the stories, the angels touch the place of his bed and they feel it's still warm, subhanallah, as no time has passed and the prophet has seen all that he has seen. So we go through the interesting tale, the details of the ascension, my brothers and sisters. So we have interesting parts, like we have the actual travel through space and time. Well, you want to know some of the interesting details, so let's talk about some of the interesting points. 1, the ability to travel on winged horses. Now, there's been many references by the Prophet of different color horses and different people traveling on winged horses, and so as a reference to this, everyone should know by the karama of Allah that during the awakening process, many people we are going to know, since a reference to Noah, are going to be able to communicate with their animals. And of course you can communicate with horses. And as a sign of love from the horse community, I will say, of course this sounds crazy to know the people who don't understand, but for those of you who understand, the horse community has already come and given their salam to me. Now those of you upon the light know that understanding very clearly, because those of you of the light who are pure and have done your work, you have maybe interacted with horses and they have already come and given their glad tidings and said their peace and blessings to you, and you who have an understanding of what I'm saying understand this. And so that's a funny little tidbit there. But the Prophet referenced different color horses, and at one time 4 and at sometimes 10. And the reason why he did that is so that you would know, oh Muslims, ya ayyuhal muslimun, that anybody with the proper understanding for the sake of Allah, fi sabilillah, with the right intention, or any light worker can get on a horse at any time. And there is no limit on how fast that horse can go. And there is no limit on how far that horse can travel. Saying, Bismillah, or by the name of the Creator Most High, Kun fayakun, be and it is. The only thing lacking in this process is your belief. As all of us who are upon the truth, both above and below, will tell you. Speaking of above and below. Now here is an interesting tidbit that most Muslims are not going to comprehend because it hasn't been made clear until this moment. That one of the interesting understandings, and this is a salam to my brothers and sisters of the Shia community, because of their focus on the spiritual nur of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the recognition of Ahl al-Bayt. They have focused on certain parts of the story that we, the Ahl al-Sunnah, have not focused on. Right? And so I say, Salamu alaikum, peace and blessings to my brothers and sisters of the light from the Shia community have focused on this part of the story. And many of their scholars have been telling you this, that the Temple of Solomon that the Prophet visited, and the Temple of Solomon where all of the prophets were within, was not the Temple of Solomon of the third dimension that we are imagining from the time of Solomon, because we know that the time of Solomon has passed. And so oftentimes we fail to see that when the prophet rides on this spiritual animal, he doesn't necessarily go to the Temple of Solomon that we think of on the third dimension. Now, many people in the Lightworker community will describe that the actual temple is the one being rebuilt within the center of the earth, within the hollow of the earth, within the core of the earth. A reference again to the 7 levels of the earth, the 7 skies, and within the earth the same, or within the earth, or of the earth like, meaning 7 possible levels of earth, 7 stages within the earth, 7 spiritual levels of the earth. Now, of course, most of us in this third dimension, it's hard for us to comprehend levels beyond physicality and dimensions, both within, below, and above. But this idea is there within the ascension of the prophet, that he went to the inner dimensions. Now, some people along the spiritual path may also try to describe it a different way, in that the whole earth itself is ascending, and therefore the spiritual realm where the prophets and that spiritual temple of Solomon exist is actually above us dimensionally, and that we are rising up to it. An interesting little reference there that'll become important when we talk about first contact. Yes, I'm giving a little plug there. So understanding that the Temple of Solomon is that place, and it is there, but not necessarily the one we understand in physicality. So this is an important question, because we often have this misunderstanding about certain characters in the story. Now, we said that Jesus, son of Mary, did not die, and that he has been, my brother, gallivanting around the universe, doing different things as he is destined to do. And we know that one of the things that he is destined to do, my brother, peace and blessings be upon him, the one we call Emmanuel or Yeshua or Isa ibn Maryam, Son of Man, is the return of the Son of Man being, why did he say the return of Son of Man? Is because man being at that time an enlightened, noble status, the highest of creation, Son of Man. But that's not yet, is it? So we said that, going back to our story, that the prophet's ascension indicates that the prophet and those who understood it were trying to tell you that the prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, did not ascend of the spirit, did not ascend just of the soul. The prophet rode on an animal and ascended up into the heavens in physicality. And this is the belief of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, those who understand the true understanding of the prophet's journey. And this is the importance of As-Siddiq, Abu Bakr, peace and blessings be upon him, as declaring, I understand this and believe it and don't have any problem believing it whatsoever. I believe that the Lord Most High has spoken the word to the Archangel Gabriel, and that Gabriel has given the word to Muhammad ibn Abdullah. I believe that. You want me to doubt that he has ascended? Of course I believe in the other realms. Come on, my brothers and sisters. I know for you who are Muslim, many times we talk about the Isra and Mi'raj, but you haven't believed your own story. You haven't understood it. You haven't believed that is real. And there are those who are out there who are calling themselves light workers and other people who believe in these realms, and they don't understand what is there within our message of Islam. That the Prophet ﷺ went on this trip and returned in physicality and told us about this. Now, those of you who have to understand, where are all the messengers of light? They are where I told you. They have always been where they are. They are in the Temple of Solomon. They are within the holy temples praying and doing what they always do. Now those of you who understand the inner earth